I was looking through some of my old resource books recently and I came across this pearl from Pannier. It's got so many brilliant activities in it and I've used lots of them over the years, but it got me thinking about how these could be adapted so they work well online. Here's one to start you off with. It's to practice that nasty piece of English grammar, relative clauses. I'm Jo Gakonga. I'm a teacher educator. I've been a CELTA trainer and assessor for 25 years, and I've also got a website at elttraining.com where I've got lots of material for teachers at all stages of their careers, including 2 fantastic courses for you if you're nervous about teaching grammar. Grammar for language teachers will make sure you know all the nomenclature of grammar and how it fits together. And teaching grammar communicatively will make sure your learners don't just know grammar but enjoy using it. The links are below, so check them out, but not before you've tried out this activity. The target language here is defining relative clauses, those clauses that give essential information about the noun they follow. He's the man I love. It's the country which has the most beaches in the world. The meaning of these clauses is pretty self-evident and learners very rarely have problems understanding them. But the form, when they need to produce them, is pretty tricky.
He's the man I love.
Yes.
He's the man that I love.
Yes.
He's the man who I love.
Yes.
It's the country which has the most beaches.
Yes.
It's the country that has the most beaches.
Yes.
It's the country has the most beaches.
Nah.
It's the country where has the most beaches.
No.
It's the country where I live.
Yes. OMG. And if you're not sure about the rules here, I've got a great course for you, as I mentioned. Let's assume you do know the rules and you've presented them in a clear and communicative way to your learners. They'll need some practice. First, if you're working online, the first thing is to set up a Google Doc for each 3 learners. So if you have 12 in a class, for example, you'll need 4 Google Docs. On each doc, you'll have a list of 8 nouns. These should be level appropriate to your class, but they could include words you've taught in class recently, a country, a profession or a job, a famous building, an item of furniture, an animal, an abstract noun, a concrete noun, a famous dish, a fruit, a time of day, a time of life, a movie star. ChatGPT will make lists for you. The prompt I used is below. Put each group into a breakout room with a Google Doc. Group 1 linked to Doc A, Group 2 linked to Doc B, etc, etc. Now, in the breakout rooms, learners work together to write sentences with relative clauses to describe the nouns. There are rules. They have to include a who, a which, a that, and an example where the relative pronoun is omitted. This is a triangle that swims. Tell them to get as creative as they can. When they've written the sentence on the doc, they delete the word, so they're just left with the sentences. You can monitor and help by commenting on the different Google Docs or visiting the rooms. When they've finished, you then ask groups to swap papers. Group 1 now link to Doc B, etc. In the same breakout room, they then try to guess what the noun is and write their group answer on the doc. Give them a time limit. and then look at some of the funny ones as a class, or use anonymous examples for error correction or language upgrade. It's basically a pretty controlled practice activity, but it's creative and fun, and it gives learners lots of exposure to relative clauses. Try it out and let me know how it goes in the comments below.